If you're thinking about moving and you want to learn about what everyday life is going to be like in your new town, this is the place for you. On Open House, we sit down with local, top producing real estate agents to help you find the best places to live in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So if you don't want buyer's remorse and you want to find your dream town, we are here for you. So go ahead and book a free call with us and we'll help guide you to the area that is right for you. Now, let's jump in and learn about your new home.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Living in DC. My name is Zach, and today we have Karen with us. We are going to be talking about Chesapeake, Virginia. This is going to be really exciting. Karen, thanks for coming on the show today. How long have you been an agent, and what do you love about living in Chesapeake?
Well, I have been an agent here in Chesapeake, Virginia for almost 11 years. So 11 years and counting.
Wow.
And then my favorite thing about living in Chesapeake is I would say the affordability. It feels like too, you're in a large city, but then at the same time, you're not really in a large city. So you get some diversity on that level as well.
Gotcha. That's really cool. And I know Living in DC is the channel name, but we're covering all of Maryland, DC, and Virginia. So Chesapeake is about as far south in Virginia as you can get. I'm curious what people do for work in the area since you don't have the nation capital right next to you. What are people doing for work? What's the median income?
Okay, so there's a lot of government service here in Chesapeake and all of the Hampton Roads area. We have military, of course, and then this part of Hampton Roads, which is all the 7 cities, it's made up of 7 cities. This area has the largest concentration of military anywhere in the whole world. So we have military in this area, we have government service workers, and our largest building and our tallest building in the city of Chesapeake is the Dollar Tree. That, if you've heard of Dollar Tree, that is one of our biggest corporations here. And I think that building is like 6 stories high. So we're a small town, we got a little bit of large town feel, not too much though.
Gotcha. No, that's cool. I'm in Springfield, Missouri, and the tallest building we have is probably about 12 stories or something like that. I can relate. Like it's not super tall buildings, but enough to have a downtown area, I'm assuming.
That's right. We do have a downtown area. Our most downtown area, I would think, would be like our Greenbrier area. That's where you have all the shopping, restaurants, and those things.
Gotcha. Okay. So with people mostly being military, is there anything else that people typically do for work, or is it mostly military? And do you know the median income for the area?
Yeah, so the median income is around about $97,000. There are, again, there's QVC here, and there's a lot of small businesses here as well. And a lot of people actually do work outside of the city. So they do drive up to DC. They do drive to Norfolk, Virginia Beach, all of our surrounding areas here, all of the cities that surround us draw people there. We have Amazon, which is in Suffolk, which is only about a 20 to 30-minute drive, depending on where you live.
Gotcha.
Or which part of Chesapeake you live in.
Okay. And for our viewers, Norfolk and Virginia Beach are neighbors to Chesapeake. What about DC? How long does it take to commute to DC?
It takes about 3.5 hours, depending on traffic, because that is one of those corridors where everybody's traveling up through that way. Yeah. So about 3 to 3.5 hours it would take you to get up to DC.
Okay, so a good little day trip.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Cool. And so just speaking of economics, what is the median home price in Chesapeake, since you said you like the affordability?
The median home price in Chesapeake is around $316,000.
Wow.
And it depends on, which part of Chesapeake, because you've got different areas. Like I say, you have the central Chesapeake area. you have the Western Branch area of Chesapeake, and you have South Chesapeake. So depending on which area, that can be more or a little bit less.
Okay. And so the northern central area, it looks a little more urban. The south area looks a little bit more suburban, and then the west looks more rural. Is that correct?
Well, it's almost correct. You're almost correct with that. So if we're looking at Central Chesapeake, which is closer up to Norfolk area, that area is a more urban area, smaller homes, more historical type homes as well. But, so that's that area. Then if you come south to South Chesapeake, you have more rural area with larger homes as well. So it's two different areas, suburban, larger homes again, a lot of new construction in the area. And really, I would say the most expensive part of Chesapeake is probably that southern part. But Western Branch area is just a smaller, like a mini South Chesapeake. So it just, they have some big homes as well, and they are growing, a lot of new construction there as well.
Gotcha. It does look like there's quite a bit of land in the western part. So
In the Western and the Southern as well.
cool. Well, that's good. So you've mentioned larger homes and things like that. What's the demographic in Chesapeake? Do you have, small families with kids or retirees or a good mix?
You have both of those. Yeah, absolutely. So yes, there are lots of children, and we need more schools here as well, because
Mm.
we are starting to outgrow the schools. There's 255,000 people living in the city of Chesapeake, and it seems to just grow, substantially every year.
Mm.
So we're kind of starting to bust out of our seams as far as schools go, that kind of thing. So there's lots of families that live in the area, and they are always looking for things for their kids to do. So there's, softball leagues, there's baseball leagues, there's tons of stuff for the kids to be involved in this area.
That's really cool. Well, and it's a good problem to have for you to need more schools.
It is. It is. It means your city is growing and prospering. So that is definitely what's happening in Chesapeake.
Cool. What would you say is another draw for small families, maybe with some kids? You had mentioned school events and things like that, and I know the schools in the area in general are just highly sought after. What are some other things to do in Chesapeake, let's say on a weekend?
Okay. So yeah, definitely. They do have great schools here in Chesapeake, ranked very high. Our school system in Virginia altogether, we're ranked number 14 in the country as far as the school rankings. And then also we have 48 public schools in Chesapeake.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a ton of schools. But at the same time, like I said, we still need more because we're kind of busting at the seams in certain areas, where schools are sought after. So other things to do in Chesapeake would include definitely visiting like the city parks and things like that. We have a lot of city parks, some in each of those areas, and they have the skateboard parks, they have dog walking parks, they have different activities within these parks as well. So on any given weekend, you might run up on a festival or something of that nature that you can just, take the kids out and have a good time.
Mm.
It's just a lot to do.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
do I do really like the emphasis on the outdoors that I'm noticing in the area, which is cool. Um, Tell me a little bit more about those events. Does Chesapeake, the city, throw events for just holidays, or do they do anything extra? And what are those like? Where do they take place?
Okay, so in the hospital here in Chesapeake, it's called Chesapeake Regional Hospital. They have what they call the Brawhaha, and that's a walk run race
Hmm.
for breast cancer. So they do that every year. There's also a corn maze, like this time of year in the fall, when we're celebrating harvest and all that. So they have the corn maze out there. They have bouncy houses and all this stuff going on right here in the city where, it's easy to get to. And of course, there's holiday activities. There's the holiday parade. There are definitely, wine festivals and things like that going on in the city.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's really cool. Is there, I'm seeing an emphasis on community too, because you do have the wider range of demographics. So what would be maybe one or two unique things about the history of Chesapeake?
Okay, so I did mention that, we have a huge concentration of military, the
Sure.
largest in the world. And then also we have more deep water canals in the city of Chesapeake than anywhere in the in the country. In the country.
Wow.
So that's one thing. And then the city of Chesapeake was incorporated really as its own city in 1963. So it's not that old of a city, you know.
Wow.
Then we did have the Battle of Great Bridge here, which is 10 minutes from my house. But, and that was in 1775. So that was before, they were incorporated. But so
Hmm.
those are some little historical pieces.
Yeah, it's always good learning about the history. I know the DC area, just the East in general, because that's kind of where we colonized first, has a lot of really cool history that goes back a ways. So that's good. Can you tell me a bit more about the more urban part of Chesapeake? And is there a good concentration of like restaurants and shopping? If someone were to visit or just look for something to do on a night out, what do you have available?
Okay, so Chesapeake is a very quiet town. So we don't have a huge nightlife out there. But again, there's Norfolk that is right around the corner, 20 minutes away. There's Virginia Beach where you can go down and, take a whole weekend and hang out at the beach. And they do have, the nightclub scene and all those things available in those cities more so than here in Chesapeake. Even the downtown area, you're not going to get, this big urban, this big, party scene kind of thing. So, so yeah, you would want to go to different other cities for that piece.
Okay. Well, that's not always a bad thing. It's nice
It's
to.
not. It's not. And to get to the other cities, it's not that big of a drive. I mean, you can get to Virginia Beach in 30 minutes, depending on the traffic. You can get to Norfolk in 20 minutes, depending on the traffic. And then it also depends on which part of Chesapeake that you actually live in.
Sure. Yeah. If you're in that southwest corner, it's probably going
Yeah,
to take a little bit
it
longer.
takes a few more minutes. Yeah.
So how long does it take from that like central north area, which you said is a little bit more affordable as well,
To get where?
to get to Virginia Beach, let's say, if you want to go to the beach or, do something at night?
35 minutes probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's really not that far of a drive. And again, it's depending on traffic because we do have a little traffic situation here during the weeks.
Yeah.
And then we live in a city that has bridges and tunnels. So sometimes that can be your holdup. So if you're going, trying to get to the other side of Hampton Roads, which we call the peninsula side, you have to go through a bridge or you have to go over a tunnel to get there.
I
And if
see.
there's an accident, that causes,
Can't
a little
go, can't
issue.
go around it. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, Chesapeake seems like a place to go if you want a little bit of a quieter, slowed down way of living, which is good. What would you say has been your overall experience living in Chesapeake, and why someone might want to join you there?
Yeah. So I like the quiet area and I like having the accessibility to the other cities, which, 30-minute drive for me is not much at all. I'm in real estate, so I'm on the road all the time, right?
Yeah,
So the having the accessibility to all these other cities and different locations, even up in DC, that area, you can get there in 30 minutes and I mean, not 30 minutes, but 3 hours, 3.5 hours. And, so those things, that's really a plus for me, because then I can come back home and I can calm down and I can be quiet. And then the next day I can get in my car and drive up to wherever I want to go. And it just doesn't take that long. So I like the accessibility to the other cities as well. But Chesapeake is a wonderful place to live. I've raised my children here, and we've been here for 11 years and decided to just settle here after my husband retired, because we like the city so much and we just didn't want to, pull our kids out of school, that kind of thing. We just wanted to stay. So we love it here, and we'll be here for a long time.
Well, that's good to know. For all of our viewers, if you guys are thinking about moving to the DMV area, check out our contact details in the description. We would love for you to text us or call us, because we want to pair you up with real estate professionals like Karen, who know their stuff and know the area. Karen, thanks for coming on the show today and teaching me about Chesapeake, and maybe we could do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Zach.